for the clean effort, everyone.
I'm Christiane Cordero, and this is the 7:34 from WCCO right here on this Super Tuesday morning. As you get ready to head out, maybe head to the polls, maybe just head to work. Let's get you started first with the weather. It felt pretty mild out there this morning. We're looking at our 7-day. Oh, we were looking at our 7-day, which also looks pretty good. Thanks, Riley. This is what we're going to look like today. 39 degrees, breezy west wind at around noon with some sun. Staying mild later this afternoon, and then a mix of south and west winds later tonight. 35 degrees. Overall looking pretty good. All right, now let's talk about this. Super Tuesday is here. Happy Super Tuesday to everybody who celebrates. Polls are open officially in Minnesota, and hometown hopeful Amy Klobuchar is out of the race. A recent NPR Star Tribune poll found Klobuchar leading Minnesota, but it ain't recent enough. Total battleground between the four biggest candidates left. So if you were planning on voting for her today, we want to know, now what? Who is your pick? She, as you can see right here, is endorsing Senator and former Vice President Joe Biden. But maybe you have a different hunch. Maybe you're getting pulled by all the Bloomberg ads. Maybe you kind of were a Bernie supporter to begin with, or an Elizabeth Warren supporter. Those watching on Facebook, leave a comment right here, and we'll get through a few of those in just a moment. Now, Jason DeRusha did a quick poll on Twitter this morning with more than 800 people voting. Around 45% chose Joe Biden as their second pick after Amy Klobuchar. Elizabeth Warren at 27%, Bernie Sanders at 16%, and Mike Bloomberg at 10%. Will that reflect the votes today? We'll see. After Senator Klobuchar's sudden exit yesterday, she's now endorsing former Vice President Joe Biden. As you just saw, Klobuchar introduced Biden on stage at his rally in Dallas last night. We talked exclusively to both of them and asked, could she be his running mate?
Is this a possible ticket we're seeing right here?
She can do anything. Anything at all.
I am focused on helping Joe Biden and thanking the people of Minnesota who have given me the opportunity to serve them in the Senate. And I do want to remind everyone that Minnesota is a Super Tuesday state. And so there may have been a few people that were going there to vote for me tomorrow. And I'm asking them to vote for Joe Biden.
Pete Buttigieg is also throwing his support behind Biden. Senator Bernie Sanders will be in his home state of Vermont today after he welcomed new voters here in Minnesota last night.
To all of Amy and Pete's millions of supporters, the door is open. Come on in.
Yep, Sanders held a rally in St. Paul last night. The Vermont senator told thousands of supporters he can win Minnesota and the election. Polls show Sanders leads Biden in the two biggest delegate prize states today. That's California and Texas. Sanders won Minnesota's caucus in 2016 with more than 61% of the vote. President Donald Trump, meanwhile, will be the only Republican on the ballot in Minnesota today. The president has said he's hoping to turn Minnesota red this year. Trump lost Minnesota to Hillary Clinton just 1.5 percentage points in 2016. Last night, President Trump held a rally in North Carolina, which will also vote today. During the rally, he called the Democratic race rigged.
Sounds like they made a deal, you know. They both supported Sleepy Joe. You know why? Quid pro quo, that's why.
And then there's Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has yet to win a state primary. She, of course, is hoping to carry her home state of Massachusetts as they vote in Super Tuesday today. Former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg will appear on the ballot for the first time today. And back here at home, we're asking Klobuchar supporters who they'll vote for now that their candidate is out. She pushed a message of unity among Democrats in her entire campaign. The question is, which candidate can the party unite with?
In a way, I'm kind of glad she dropped out at this point. I would have voted for her, but I voted for Biden because I would like to see him be the candidate.
Bernie has a clearer vision for America. He has a confident vision, and it's one that hasn't changed in 40 years.
We will have special primary coverage with live results starting tonight at 8:30 on CBSN Minnesota through WCCO 4 News at 10. We're following some breaking news out of Tennessee this morning. A large and dangerous tornado tore through the Nashville area around 1 a.m. Officials saying that at least 7 people are dead, 20 are hurt. This again is in tornado in the Nashville area. We're waiting to hear word on the latest now that the sun is rising, but man, you can just see that damage there. and it is pretty devastating to take a look at. All right. The coronavirus has now killed 6 people in the United States, all of them in Washington state. Still no confirmed cases in Minnesota. Meanwhile, an Eden Prairie couple is finally back home after being quarantined for coronavirus twice. Ron Hilding and Amy Ellefson flew back to Minnesota yesterday. They've never got the virus, but said it was very tense waiting for their test results.
You're waiting for someone to come and tell you you passed it or didn't pass it. There's no gray line. It's just yes or no. Were you positive or were you negative? And then when the guys came to the door, they're in full hazmat suits and they're carrying the folder, and it's like, ah!
The scariest thing for us, too, was if one of us were negative and one of us were positive, it would be very stressful for being separated. Because as long as we could be together, we're fine.
Yeah, no kidding. Stressful indeed. The couple said Delta was very good to them and upgraded them to first class. They'd never flown first class before. Amazon says some sellers are taking advantage of the coronavirus to make money. The company says it pulled more than 1 million products down. Some falsely claim that they could prevent and even cure the coronavirus. Other products like masks, sanitizer, and cleaning wipes were unfairly overpriced. After disappointing holiday sales, Target still beat Wall Street's expectations in the fourth quarter. The Minneapolis-based company released its latest earnings report this morning. Sales were up 1.5% in the fourth quarter with profits of $834 million. Target credits strong digital sales as well as same-day services like order pickup and delivery. Apple plans to pay between $310 and $500 million over claims it slowed down iPhones to preserve battery life. If the final settlement is approved, some users will receive $25. That number could drop, though, if too many people file claims. Plaintiffs who brought the class action lawsuit say that they spent hundreds on new phones instead of just replacing the battery. All right, let's get back to today's talker. We're bringing in WCCO's digital guide, Jonathan. Jonathan, what are people saying about, if they're an Amy Klobuchar supporter and they're going out to the polls today, who are they voting for?
For these commenters on our Facebook right now, we got a pretty even split between Biden and Bernie Sanders, it looks like. We also have a few people for Bloomberg and Warren. However, it was kind of interesting that there's more Bloomberg comments over Warren, which
I mean, he's been advertising like crazy out here.
True.
So this is his first real test, of course, to see how he's doing in some major states, including Minnesota.
Yeah, I also overheard Jason DeRusha did a little poll on his Twitter account, and he, I think he said like Biden, for like 800 people responded, and I think Biden got like 50%.
He got almost half the votes. Yeah. It seems like Biden and Bernie Sanders will be the closest ones to watch, but I think one of the exciting things about Election Day is you never really know until you know, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
Especially after the last 2 days have been pretty wild.
It's been pretty wild indeed. All right, thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it.